So next up on the character by character opinion videos is for Daniel Meade. Daniel in the beginning was a straight up jackass, especially the first episode where his main goal was to humiliate Betty, and it pissed me the fuck off. Do I think Daniel grew and progressed as the series went on? Yes. Do I think they did it respectfully where it wasn't just a snap in character? Yes. And I think they did his growing so perfectly that it makes sense for him. So we started out this series with Daniel being a man whore. And I don't want to say racist. I don't think he showed racist undertones, but he definitely did show, like, sizist tones. He didn't like Betty because he thought she was ugly and big and blah, blah, blah. But then I guess as she proved her worth, he liked her. But not really. She just saved his ass. And he was like, okay, fuck, I'm an idiot. Yes, you are an idiot, Daniel. And as we progress, we still know he's a man whore. He's sleeping with a bunch of women. He forgets who he sleeps with. He uses Amanda. Amanda's whole nother bitch who I want to stab. But, terrible. Anyway. And then his feud with Wilhelmina and his sister and his mother and all of this and his father. Like, it's just one big mess. But I think Daniel does learn from everything. As the series progresses, he gets his first crush on Sophia Reyes. And you can tell right away he's just trying to get her in bed. But then he develops feelings for her, only to find out that she was using him for an article. In the sense of how to lose a guy in 10 days, kind of the same thing of how to make a guy fall for you and blah, blah, blah. And using Daniel Meade as the subject was hilarious because Playboy turned wannabe husband, like. And you could tell he was depressed for a little bit after that. And it was disgusting. And I'm glad that they wrote her off because that character pissed me off. Then he has little relationships here and there, fuck buddies, friendships. And we do see him kind of stagger more into the Playboy as he's growing in the magazine. He does have a good input in the magazine. Then with his next date, which is Wilhelmina's sister. I cannot remember her name, but she's played by Gabrielle Union. And Gabrielle Union plays Crazy very well. I believe that's her name. She starts sleeping with Daniel, and they're dating, but she gets very clingy very quickly because apparently she does have some mental illnesses. I'm not sure what they were. And she thinks that Betty is in love with Daniel, and she tells Daniel this, and Daniel's dumbass falls for it. And then she ends up setting his apartment on fire trying to kill Betty. I believe it was Betty or Daniel. I'm not sure, but either way, she almost killed Betty. She gets help and then disappears. Like, they never show her again. They never introduce her again, but you can tell it definitely messed up Daniel a little bit. And then we'll get to his next great love story, which was Molly. And oh my god. Heartbreaking. Molly, he technically stole Molly from the Australian guy whose name I can't remember. But I think they were so adorable together. She was down to earth and he was rich jerk, and the way he changed so fast for her. I've seen it in relationships. I did it for my past relationship. He loved her with all of his heart, and it was so beautiful. And the wedding that he wanted to give her, the space theme wedding, up till the moment she fucking died. It was so beautiful. And the speech he gave during the wedding shoot, award, I don't remember what it was. So fucking beautiful. And yes, Daniel downward spiraled. Not like into his whore ways again, but he downward spiraled into a cult. And trying to find trust in someone when everyone was kind of leaving him. And before you say, well, how was everyone leaving him? Betty had become an editor, so she was no longer his assistant. He didn't have her as an assistant. His wife passed away. His mother had a secret son that he felt like she was choosing over him. His sister was in another state with the son he thought was his, or another country with a son he thought was his. Like, his whole world was falling apart, and throwing Molly on top of it was just the icing on the cake for him to join a cult. Betty, of course, saves the day and is able to get him out. But I do love that this played out in over a string of episodes. It wasn't just like one episode, he joins the cult and he's out. It was a string of episodes. And I think it was so nice. And it leads to Daniel going back to... Oh, wait, I have the timelines mixed up. The cult was before the secret brother reveal, I think. I can't remember. Either way, Daniel's got a lot of drama in his life. And now let's take a minute to go all the way back to the beginning when we get the big reveal that Daniel's brother, Alex, is now his sister, Alexis. Because we all thought Alex had died in a crash, had died, I don't remember. But in actuality, she was just having a sex change into a woman and became Alexis. Daniel supported her. 100% he supported her. Yes, there was anger in him because he thought that his brother had died, but he accepted the fact that his brother is his sister. And yes, he mixed up the pronouns every now and again, but it was never intentional. It was a slip of the tongue, and as soon as he got it correct, he got it correct. Daniel supported his sister the entire time, and Alexis was a fucking cunt. And that is the only reason they had their differences. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. And by the end of the series, you can see that Daniel is... I don't even want to say it's by the end of the series, because I want to say by season 4, like, it is the last season, but early season 4, you can tell Daniel has a crush on Betty. And it's cute. It really is cute, but I don't think they ever would have worked out, honestly, because they are two completely different people. And yes, Betty did change a lot throughout the series, but not enough to be Daniel's girl. I think Daniel, it would be better for him to be Betty's man, in a sense. And I do love that he gave everything up in the end. He gave up Meade. He gave up Meade to Wilhelmina because... Hi, Raider. He gave up Meade to Wilhelmina because he knew that he didn't work for it. And he saw Betty work and strive for everything in her life. And he's like, he wanted to do that. I love that in the end, she's in London, and he comes to London, and they run into each other, in a sense, and he's like, I never got to say goodbye, blah, 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 and he says how, like, he's looking for work, and she goes, well, I'm looking for an assistant. I think that would have been cute, but also, like, don't do it, Betty, because y'all are gonna end up fucking, and that's not gonna be cool. But like I said, I loved his character progression. I think he was one of the characters that showed the most progression on the show, and I think it was cute. I think it was really good. So what are your thoughts on Daniel Meade from Ugly Betty? Please comment, like, subscribe, and let me know what you think.